What if the oddest thing in today's tech news is a desktop fruit fly that behaves according to a real brain map? Welcome to the Automated Daily, Hacker News Edition, the podcast created by generative AI. It's August 19th, 2026. I'm Trent Teller, and today we're looking at platform incentives, public health, digital power, and one delightfully strange experiment that turns neuroscience into software. This episode is brought to you by 11 Labs. 11 Labs lets you discover the future of AI audio with cutting-edge voice technology. Find the link in the episode notes. First up, a sharp critique of Amazon's search ads argues they behave less like normal ads and more like a hidden tax. The idea is that many sellers are not paying to create new demand, but to defend sales they probably would have won anyway. If that is true, the cost eventually lands on both merchants and shoppers, while search quality gets shaped more by bidding pressure than product quality. The bigger takeaway is about incentives. When a marketplace also controls discovery, it has a reason to make paid placement hard to ignore. Staying with platform accountability, Meta is now in a federal trial in Oakland over allegations that it concealed harms linked to Facebook and Instagram. The case is drawing tobacco-style comparisons because the key question is not only whether harm occurred, but whether the company understood the risks and kept pushing ahead. That makes this more than a courtroom spectacle. The outcome could influence how judges and regulators think about the responsibilities of social platforms, especially when younger users are involved. There's a related discussion today about state power over communications infrastructure. Prompted by a recent UK emergency alert, one article asks whether mobile operators can meaningfully refuse a government demand once a system is designed to reach almost everyone at once. The point is not that emergency alerts are bad. They can be vital. The concern is that any channel built for fast universal messaging also creates the possibility of misuse, and there may be far less room for resistance than the public assumes. On public health, a major study out of London found that children's lung growth improved noticeably after the city introduced its Ultra Low Emission Zone in 2019. Researchers followed more than 3,000 children over several years and found that kids in London who started with worse lung capacity largely caught up with the comparison group. That matters because it suggests clean air policy can deliver measurable benefits surprisingly quickly. Pollution is still an issue, but this is strong evidence that policy changes can help reverse damage during childhood. Now for the unusual one. A macOS project called DesktopFly puts a tiny 3D fruit fly on your desktop, but instead of using simple canned animations, its behavior is driven by a live simulation based on the Flywire connectome. In plain terms, the fly is reacting through a simplified model of real neural wiring. It's playful, yes, but it also makes a serious point. As brain maps improve, research data can become something interactive and intuitive, not just something buried in papers and lab tools.
Another item getting attention today is a reflective essay about ambition and fatherhood. The author argues that once you have children, work can no longer consume every spare minute without a real cost at home. What makes it resonate, especially with a tech audience, is that it rejects the idea that you must choose between building meaningful work and being a present parent. The proposal is tougher but more practical. Treat fatherhood itself as an ambition and cut distractions hard enough to make room for both. And finally, a lighter systems story. IKEA explained how it names its products, and a famous naming scheme is much more structured than it looks. Different product categories draw from different kinds of Swedish words and names, and each choice has to work across languages, avoid legal trouble, and still sound memorable. Why does that matter? Because when a company launches thousands of products a year, naming stops being a bit of brand flair and becomes an operational system all its own. Thanks to our sponsor, Gamma. Gamma lets you effortlessly use AI to design for presentations, websites, and more. Find the link in the episode notes. That's the roundup for today. Links to all the stories we covered can be found in the episode notes. Thanks for listening to the Automated Daily, Hacker News Edition. I'm Trent Teller, and I'll be back tomorrow.